Number 5.
Denver upgraded Davis Webb offensive coordinator. A lot of people were interested. They traded for Jalen Waddle to ensure Bo Nix continued growth. They were the number 1 seed last year. Okay, now the Raiders will be better in division, and so will the Chargers. I don't know if they'll be the number 1 seed, but they went and got Jonah Coleman. They went and got another running back with Harvey. So listen, obviously, Sean Payton knows quarterbacks and has a lot of leverage like a Ben Johnson when it comes to building this team through the draft. They've got a stacked offense. Also last year, tremendous pass rush, big home field advantage early in the season in the altitude. I have Denver at 5.
Yeah, so I want to dive deeper into this because we touched on it briefly when I went through the entire top 10 rankings. The Denver Broncos are such an intriguing franchise. They performed at an extremely high level last season, yet a lot of people, including many of their own fans, didn't truly believe they were legitimate or that they executed well. There's also a widespread lack of faith in Bo Nix, even though we watched him step up in massive contests against Kansas City, against Buffalo, and so on. He showed up, played terrific football, and delivered. A huge fourth-quarter rally? Whatever the situation demanded, he got it done. And I still have this saved on my screen. Let me pull it up. Which one was it? This one. I've kept this bookmarked. People keep saying Denver has a loaded offense, excellent coaching personnel, a strong defense, and yet the conviction still isn't completely there for this team. Then they go and swing a massive trade for Jalen Waddle. That's enormous. That's fantastic. That's a legitimate, no questions asked acquisition. Not the kind where you hear, well, he's a bit older, or his prime might be behind him, or he's recovering from a terrible injury, or he's still young and unpolished, or he has attitude concerns. Will the Broncos be able to manage him? None of that. No contradictions whatsoever. On top of that, they bring in a new coordinator who, by every account, is excellent and drew interest from many teams. So for me, what this ultima Telly boils down to, and I've mentioned this before, but I really want to hammer it home, is the following. Bo Nix simply needs to keep growing and become a better quarterback. And if Sean Payton was genuinely holding the Denver Broncos back a little bit, not by a huge margin, not as some massive liability, not in a get this guy out of the building way, but in terms of actual play calling, the real in-game decisions, did we see a magnified version of those problems, particularly in the playoffs? I'm actually excited by the idea that Sean Payton might have lost a little bit of his fastball. There were reports that he wasn't getting plays in quickly enough, that he was operating at a slower tempo. If that turns out to be true, then bringing in a new play caller, someone who can operate with more speed, at least in terms of having those conversations and processing information much faster, could have a tremendous impact. That alone could make this team significantly better. That's where I think back to a remark from Kurt Warner when he was analyzing the Broncos and had some head-scratching moments. He said something like, I don't fully understand what they're trying to do, or why things look so different in the first few quarters compared to the fourth quarter. What's actually going on? And we know it's not Bo Nix. We know it's not a case of they have to keep the training wheels on Bo Nix or Bo Nix isn't good at that, so they can't run those plays. We know that's not reality. We know that for a fact. Now, does Bo Nix need to clean up some of his footwork and timing? Can he get a little rushed at times? Absolutely. That's all part of the normal development curve, which is why I'm also placing responsibility squarely on Bo Nix. But still, if those things come together, and I've said this before, there are certain teams where you just need to check a few boxes. For some franchises, you check those boxes and you say, okay, you're a really good team. For others, you check a couple of boxes and it's like, no, man, you could skyrocket. You could become special. I have a handful of question marks, and if you answer them, you can absolutely take off. For me, it's just 2 boxes for the Broncos. Just 2. First, can Bo Nix individually improve as a player? Second, was Sean Payton holding this team back a little bit, meaning that getting a new play caller solves that issue? If those things happen, even if Nix stays exactly the same quarterback he is right now, but Sean Payton was indeed holding the team back slightly, that alone would be enough to show improvement in Nix, simply by virtue of playing in an offense that runs more smoothly. That's before we even consider Nix getting better on his own. So this is an incredibly exciting prospect for me. The Broncos roster itself? We know it's outstanding. We know it's great. The offensive line, the receiving core now, just the weapons available, not to mention the pre-existing pieces we haven't really seen fully unleashed. Even the running game has continued to fall short of what you'd ideally want. And all of these things could potentially be resolved. Given what they've already been able to accomplish in the past, how can you not love the position the Broncos are in right now? I mean, how can you not love it? How can you not love it? So I really think this could be the year where you should hope that Sean Payton truly had his thumb on the scale, that he was genuinely weighing things down a bit, and that he's now transitioning into a more CEO-style overseer role as head coach. You've now got the play caller, you've got the coordinator. Because if all of that is true, then there is absolutely, positively zero reason why the Denver Broncos won't be an elite, top-tier team contending for the number 1 seed once again. Zero reason why. And on top of that, the team itself, the roster itself, let alone the most important player, Bo Nix, has big game experience under its belt. He has consistently shown himself to be a performer in high-stakes moments. Consistently. I mean, the guy is a baller, a true gamer. We've seen that from day one. And again, if we're looking at something like this, right here, a player with 7,500 passing yards, 750 rushing yards, and a playoff win before his third NFL season. If he was able to do that without a Jalen Waddle, and with a Sean Payton who, again, may not have been the best version of himself, not the worst version, but not the best, then we haven't even come close to seeing his full potential. We haven't even come close to seeing the ceiling. We are nowhere near the ceiling. That is remarkable. That is the best prospect in town right now, achieving this level of success while still in an imperfect situation. To be clear, let's not get it twisted. Bo Nix didn't have the worst situation in the NFL. That's not what I'm saying. But if there is actual improvement here, that's incredible. You couldn't ask for anything better in that regard. You simply could not ask for anything better. So yeah, there are just a handful of teams that, for various reasons, I am so excited about what we're going to witness. That's what I really think about. What are we about to see? I'm really looking forward to it. Sorry, Broncos fans, but also what Mike McDaniel does with Justin Herbert. What year 3 looks like for Bo Nix with a new play caller, Jalen Waddle, and so on, coming off the season we just witnessed. People forget that they were the actual number 1 seed. Some try to pretend, oh, the Broncos only got the 1 seed because every other team took a wrong turn, they were all late, it just kind of happened. No. They earned it because they were the best team in the AFC. They clearly proved that they would have beaten the Patriots. They would have gone to the Super Bowl. Okay? They would have made the Super Bowl. That is so obvious, so clear. So they were the number 1 seed for a reason. They were unequivocally the best team in the AFC. As uncomfortable as that might make some people, that's just the way it works. They were the best team in the division. They were the best team in the AFC. Just reality. Just reality. And yet, we still weren't seeing the best version of themselves. That is so exciting to me. I'm also thrilled to see what Caleb Williams looks like in year 2 with Ben Johnson, because Williams left so many points on the table. If he doesn't do that anymore, we're talking about absolute fireworks. So there's a collection of situations where I'm anticipating greatness. In other cases, I'm more like, I don't know, what is this actually going to look like? The Minnesota Vikings with Kyler Murray, I'm super excited for that because I'm thinking, J.J. McCarthy, Kyler Murray, what's the story there right now? I'm so excited to watch Cam Ward's development. Is it Kirk Cousins in Miami? What's the narrative there? As I said, there are a handful of teams where I just feel like we are on the verge of, this is going to sound so corny, pure awesomeness. I don't want to say greatness because greatness implies something legendary. I can't say the Broncos are on the verge of greatness yet, I want to wait and see first. That wouldn't be fair. But they are right on the cusp, even in an imperfect situation. And it's not even just relying on the standard argument, they're on the verge, and they'll be better now because we got a little more help and our quarterback will be a bit more developed. That's true. Too. But on top of that, you're also potentially upgrading from an offensive scheme and play calling standpoint. It's like watching Patrick Mahomes in 2018 and saying, what? And then realizing, and now we're going to have Andy Reid for years to come. It's like, wait, what? You didn't even have Andy Reid back then either? So yeah. Yeah, man. I'm excited. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you all think about the Denver Broncos being ranked as the 5th best team according to Colin's hierarchy? So I guess, according to Colin, it's going to come down to the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos in the AFC Championship game. And I guess the Broncos are going to win the division, not the Chiefs, not the Chargers. Alright, let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some debates, some arguments. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you be part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we are well on our way to doing that. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.